Hey, happy Saturday. It's Julie here from One Fresh Meal. And this is a little bit different than usual. Normally, I'm showing you some cooking tip or a recipe or even showing you how to go through a recipe. But this time, I just want to talk about what some terms mean. You've probably heard of plant-based, whole food plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, plant-centered, even paleo and ketogenic. Um, and what do all of those mean? Well, I thought I would just get on and briefly talk about them because there's really one thing that is common in all of them, and that is eating a lot of plant-based foods. Um, if you have heard of vegan but weren't really sure what it was, vegan just means that you don't eat any animal products. You can be vegan and still not eat healthily because you could be eating Skittles, candy. You can eat potato chips and be vegan. You can eat, what else? Any kind of junk food that doesn't have animal products, you can eat that and be vegan. Vegetarian, that means that you don't eat meat. You eat, well, there's different levels of vegetarian. Vegetarians usually eat eggs and dairy along with any plant foods. Again, you can be vegetarian and not eat very healthy because you can eat candy bars, you can eat, sour cream dip, you can eat lots of things that aren't terribly healthy for you. Some vegetarians do eat fish. Some vegetarians do eat chicken. So there's a range in vegetarians. Plant-based means that you only eat foods that are from plants. So you can't eat anything that did not come from a plant. That would be, you can still eat kind of some junk food, or maybe not junk food. You could eat processed foods that are plant-based, like some of these new plant-based meat replacements. That's plant-based, but that's not whole foods. Whole food plant-based means that it's made from real food, like it's made from a mushroom. It's not a mushroom extract, or it's not grown in a lab or anything like that. Um, then there's paleo and ketogenic, which those two include meats. What they have in common is most of what you eat comes from fats. And I'm not an expert on those two ways of eating, but I did look it up. And ketogenic diet gets about 70% of the calories from fat, about 20% from protein, and 10% carbs. Which carbs? That's all your vegetables. You can eat leafy greens and non-starchy carbs, but you can't eat anything like potatoes. There's no beans. There's no grains. I think there's no milk, but I think you can eat cheese. And there's no processed food. The good thing about paleo and ketogenic is you don't add sugar. There's no sugars in that. So that's the good part. Again, on the paleo, it's still a lot of fat. It's about 60% fat, 20% protein, and 20% carbs. On both of those, you're supposed to use really high quality proteins and high quality fats, but still, that's kind of a lot of fats. Anyway, I like the term plant-centered because even for myself, I'm not 100% plant-based. I do sometimes eat eggs. I don't eat dairy, maybe on occasion if it just happens that I'm somewhere and someone has made something that has cheese in it, I'll eat it, even though I don't really, that's not my preference, but I'll eat it. I sometimes eat meat, but not often. Maybe 2 to 4 times a month I'll have meat, some sort, chicken, fish, or sometimes beef. Very rarely do I eat pork. I just don't prefer that. Anyway, so that's basically all I wanted to say. And if you have any questions about what any of those words mean, how you can eat more plant-centered, that's why I talk about plant-centered meals, because I don't eat, well, no, that's my opinion, that you can eat what you feel right eating. So no judgment. I just think the more plants that you eat, the better. So I like about 2/3 of my plate are plants. Actually more than that, probably like most of the time it's 100% of my plate as plants, because I include beans and I include grains as plants because they came from plants. So typically 100% of my plate is plants. But if you are a meat eater, I would say 25% of your plate should be meat and the rest should be plants. Most of them being leafy greens or low starch plants. Although I think those are fine too. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it below, and I am happy to answer any questions about eating plant-centered, more plant-centered meals. And hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.